Hello, and welcome to my Holy Paladin Proving Grounds Gold video for the World of Warcraft Legion expansion. Alright, let's talk Holy Paladin talents. So the talents I use for the gold run are as follows: Bestowed Faith, Unbreakable Spirit, Repentance, Aura of Mercy, Holy Avenger, Fervent Martyr, and Beacon of the Lightbringer. This first tier is actually kind of interesting. I was debating if Light's Hammer would be worth it, but since most of what you deal with in Proving Grounds is single target damage, there are, some moments where it comes a little hectic. I figured Bestow Faith would be the best choice because it's a fairly short cooldown, but a decent amount of healing on a single target. Pretty cheap, 13,000 mana when you've got a mana pool of over 1 million is pretty negligible. Crusader's Might is interesting. I'm not sure if Proving Grounds is where you would want to take it. If there are fights where you can feasibly weave in some Crusader strikes to reduce those cooldowns, that's fine. I think it's probably a bit faster gameplay style, especially if you're weaving that with Holy Shock. Holy Shock's cooldown is only, what, 8 seconds? So you could feasibly make it much faster. You don't have Holy Power anymore, so it's a little weird to, I don't know, I guess you could use it, it's just a little strange to me. The next here is basically the movement speed. Well, some movement speed. But then you have this, which I thought was just too good. Reduces the cooldown Divine Shield, Divine Protection, and Lay on Hands by 30%. I'm sorry, this isn't movement speed. There is a movement speed, but this is Rule of Law, increases the range of your heals and reach of Mastery Lightbringer by 50% for 10 seconds. Main reason I didn't take that is just because it's too much work to manage another cooldown without all the add-ons I normally run with. So right now, Mastery Lightbringer, proximity to your target causes your spells to heal for up to 20% more. I'm not sure what the range is, but apparently this would increase it. So, seems neat. Maybe in raid situations. 5-man groups, I can't see it being that necessary. Next one is your CC tier. There's Fist of Justice, Repentance, and Blinding Light. I went with Repentance. I don't even think I used it. It's weird to me that that has a cast time, but hey, why not? The next tier, tier 60, has Devotion Aura, Aura of Sacrifice, and Aura of Mercy. Interesting alternatives here. Aura of Sacrifice I could see working in certain builds, but I went with Aura of Mercy because it's a passive healing to everybody near me, so all I had to do was just be in the right place. So I thought that was the easiest one to use, so that's what I went with. Divine Purpose, Holy Avenger, and Holy Prism on the next tier. I chose Holy Avenger just because it was an on-demand cooldown that seemed pretty good, 30% haste, and it increases Holy Shock healing by 30% for 20 seconds. Divine Purpose is kind of, procky and, I don't know, just not my style of play. Holy Prism could work as well, maybe, but I don't know, I like having 4 of those adds that enrage, Holy Avenger, or at least 1 major cooldown available to handle that. The next tier, I went with Fervent Martyr because, I don't know, it sounded good. I ended up using Light of the Martyr quite a bit. This is probably the biggest mana saving option on this tier. Sanctified Wrath could be useful, and I was debating switching to it before, but I just kind of picked Fervent Martyr. I said, hey, it's a passive, it's going to make my life a little easier, and I don't have to worry about mana as much. Alright. Sanctified Wrath, though, I could see being used in a lot of builds. Judgment of Light, cool. Kind of gives you that the old style judgments where when you judged a certain seal, different things happened. So this one, you judge a target, and then as people hit it, they get healed, which is nice, but the healing looks very low at 4K. So I wasn't too attracted to it. The 100 tier offers you 3 different kinds of beacons. So Beacon of Faith, basically a second beacon, but you now heal both of your beacons at a 20% reduced effectiveness. So still effective, but I didn't want to take another beacon just to maintain it. So I went Beacon of the Lightbringer. Lightbringer now increases your healing based on the target's proximity to either you or your Beacon of Light, whichever is closer. The healing range of the Light of Dawn is increased by 30%. That last bit was kind of what kind of put me over the edge there for it, was the 30% increase on Light of Dawn. Beacon of Virtue, interesting. I don't know how this actually plays, but I didn't think it would be very fun, especially if I have to actually put all 3 beacons out there. It says apply a beacon of light to your target and 3 injured allies within 30 yards for 8 seconds. Your heals will heal all of them for 40% of the amount healed. Kind of a big AoE beacon. I can see that being nice to have on fights where you do a lot of AoE healing. This is not the case in the Proving Grounds, so I didn't take it. Alright, those are the talents. So this is the actual run. Holy Paladin, for the most part, feels pretty much the same way they've always felt. Not very friendly to movement. The biggest difference now with Legion is that the amount of healing you do is increased by the proximity to the injured target. Kind of an interesting little mechanic that they gave to Holy Paladins. I can see them being in melee on fights to kind of fill that role if they do continue to tank heal. I think they're still pretty strong single target healers. Now you just have Light of the Dawn. I don't know when they got rid of Holy Radiance. It's been a long time since I played a Holy Paladin, probably like Cataclysm. But for the most part, they still have pretty strong cooldowns. Your Sacrifice is strong, Holy Avenger is strong, Avenging Wrath is still very strong, Aura Mastery is strong, and of course Beacon is just, a staple that you always want in your raid. At least I would always want in my raid. So the interesting mechanic that I think they have now with the, I believe that's Martyr of Sacrifice. Let me check real quick. Light of the Martyr, my apologies, is that Q button that I have bound down there. Looks like a little eye symbol. Essentially, you sacrifice some of your health for a quick heal on a particular target. Now, this heal does not actually transfer over the beacon, but oftentimes when you're playing a healer, you can kind of position yourself in a safe area so that it's much more likely that you can prevent yourself from taking damage than, say, the tank. So that ability is very, very nice to have. I think there's a lot of talents on the actual artifact weapon that'll give you options for increasing self-healing. And I can see builds where you might keep a beacon on yourself. Like if you took the, Aura of Sacrifice, where you redirect all damage taken while you're above 75% health to yourself. And you just basically keep healing yourself, the tank, and a third target, and just do a lot of healing, which is pretty, typical of how Holy Paladins have played for a long time, I believe. It seems like you can do some more damage now. Like there's multiple charges of Crusader Strike. I guess that's to facilitate the leveling process, as it kind of, in Legion, it kind of behooves you to level as the spec you're going to play, because you're going to get a lot of artifact power from that, and it's kind of a pain to level as a different spec and then get your second artifact and then save up all your artifact power and then apply it, switch specs to apply it to the weapons record. I don't know if you actually, yeah, I think you do have to switch specs, because it normally doesn't let you equip the other weapons unless you have that spec active. So I think a lot of that is just to facilitate the leveling experience as Holy. Overall, though, I think it took me maybe 2 tries to complete the gold run. Holy feels strong compared to when I tried to do Disc Priest as gold. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure what they're doing with Disc Priest, but it's not what it is on live, I can tell you that. They're like this weird hybrid of damage and healing, but I don't feel like they really succeed in either scenario. Maybe that just comes from a lack of understanding of how they're supposed to be healing. At least it doesn't feel like having them as a single healer in a 5-man is sufficient, but maybe that's just ignorance and bad gear. Because the gear that I'm doing these videos with are coming from PvP pre-made characters, so a lot of it is like a particular one decent stat and then versatility. Additionally, the item level on the weapon is actually only 750 because there are no relics in the weapons, so that kind of hinders you a little bit. But that being said, mana-wise, Holy Paladin didn't have a lot of issues. At the end, I think I do go but it just, the situation necessitated it with how much damage was going out, and kind of a poor job by me actually keeping up with things. There was a moment in time where I was still targeting myself instead of the tank, and I think I had Avenging Wrath up, and I felt really silly. But overall, you don't have too much of a problem getting rid of like that debuff on the mage. Couple casts, boom boom. You could use Light of the Martyr if you wanted. It's an interesting small set of changes. It's nothing like what they've done to Mistweavers, which is like a butchering of the spec. I could talk about a bit more about that in the Mistweaver video if I actually try to get the gold on that. I haven't spent too much time on there. I played a little bit of Mistweaver and I saw that they changed Soothing Mist to actually be a sort of like an after effect on your heals, which is awkward because typically you want, after you casted your heal, to go, use Renewing Mist to have it bounce over to other targets, but then you have to make the choice between channeling that single target heal and using that AoE. And it's, well, not AoE, the Renew Palm, as I'll call it, Renewing Mists. So, strange things there. Haven't tried Druid. It doesn't look like it's changed much. I'll probably be trying Druid and Shaman soon just to see how they feel. But the healing classes so far that I've tried, Holy Paladin and Holy Priest still feel strong. Holy Priest still has some limitations with, if they don't have their Holy Words up, I feel like they're pretty weak because Renew doesn't do much and Prayer of Mending is okay, but it's sometimes questionable to even use the GCD on that instead of using it on a spell that would actually lower the Holy Word cost, or cooldown. But as you see here, around our wave 8, going in, pretty much most of my cooldowns available with Holy Avenger, Sacrifice, or Mastery. I have plenty of mana. Look, things are looking pretty good at this point. Got one of the Raging Ads here. I do think I might mess up a little bit here because I think I pop a cooldown even though he popped his Wall of Iron. Yeah, I freaked out a little bit. I popped Sacrifice. Or Hand of Sack. And then we got the debuff, and lots of people are taking damages, and I'm trying to use Lay on Hands. I'm freaking out. Oh my gosh. I see the debuff on him. I'm like, oh gosh, oh gosh. I got it. Aqua Bomb still goes off, but able to recover eventually from this. Everything looked so good. Such a small time ago. A lot of sitting around and casting, flash of lights. I think of the healers that I've tested, Mistweaver feels the worst mana-wise. Holy Paladin here still feels pretty good. I don't think they have any regen mechanics, though. Like, at least with Holy Priest, you have a talent to get 10% mana regen. But Holy Paladin, I guess it's just, be cautious with how often you spam Flash of Light. Nope, popped wings. Let's see, I'm targeting myself here and I don't even realize it. Oh, that's embarrassing. The tank lived, though. How on that? Oh, he must be getting the peek and heals. Even though I messed up, I didn't mess up completely. Good job. Not sure if I'm going to be playing a healer main going into Legion. I might, just because it'll make leveling and grouping a little easier. I have really been enjoying the Assassination Rogue. It's, you know, it's a boring rotation, but at the same time it's still fun. Windwalker Monks are really strong from what I've seen on the beta. They're the only ones that I've seen consistently beat me in both AoE and single target. I mean, not that Assassination is anything good at AoE, but the Windwalker Monks with their legendary, or not their legendary, their artifact weapon do quite a bit of damage. And here we go. Alright, I appreciate you for watching, and stay tuned for more. Thanks, everyone.